Welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen. It's really two programs in one. This is a series that appeals to your creative side, food that is sumptuous stuff. How could that be? This is a program about people who want to eat healthy and reduce calories. Actually, it's about food with an aromatic quality that fills the nose. Oh, sure, but it's also about keeping my arteries clean by reducing fat. But it doesn't mean a thing if the food isn't rich and colorful. Maximize the flavor. Okay, but I must have healthy food that I can cook in minutes. I must minimize the risk. So welcome to Graham Kerr's Kitchen, where we get our heads together just for you. And is this an unusual program? Well, I mean, how would you tell me? It is an unusual program. This one deals with an ingredient called smoke, and where you just simply can't nick out and buy it. Well, I mean, there is, believe it or not, such a thing as instant smoke. But in this case, what I've got on the go is a sort of home smoke outfit, and I just want to put this on before just going in there. Just drop in some chicken and put the lid on. Oh, boy, I mean, you know, and just hope that you don't set off every fire alarm in the district. That happened to me once. Okay, and we'll come back to that. Now, I just want to put that on for 11 minutes, and then we can get back here. And where's the little red thing? Oh, there we are. 11 minutes exactly. Put that on there, country. I'll tell you what this is all about. Actually, you know, we've looked at so many different ways of seasoning food, and so I thought that it would probably be a good idea if we looked at smoke, rather than looking at smoke as a way of preserving food, which is really where it started. Let's look at it from a different point of view. Now, let's put smoke in the middle here, and let's put skin at the bottom, and then at the top, let's put salt. More or less always, you know, salt goes on food which is going to be smoked. It's part of the real skill is the brining process and the kind of seasonings that go into a brine when you're going to smoke something really well. But I thought we'd sidetrack that and do a smoke that we could actually do straight away, so that you actually get a dish out of this where we take the smoke through, but leave the salt behind and leave the skin behind. Actually, a moist and delicious way of cooking. Now, I wouldn't cook this way often. I think perhaps once a month, maybe twice a month, no problem whatsoever. But it is true that in certain parts of the world, where, say in Japan and Norway, these are people who have a great deal of smoked food, and they're also cured and brined as well. So they have some problems as a result of overdoing it. But if we do a little bit every now and again, it's a wonderful alternative to frying stuff, okay? Let's have a look at a chicken breast done this way. It is a very unusual idea. There are, of course, enormous numbers of people who smoke food very well indeed. But there's just a little bit of a problem to it, and I'd like to show you what it is. I don't know that it's so much of a problem, but here. This is 0.93 of a pound, and the price is $7.43. What that is, that's chicken which is brined and which has skin on it, which is brilliantly smoked, I want you to know, and it's delicious, but it's really expensive. You can get a whole bird like this, which is vacuum packed, which crosses it down like so. This is good too, but here again, $2.79, a little more reasonable because of all the bone that's in it, $9.91. So, okay, let's just assume for a moment that you're not quite sure whether you want to do the smoked thing or not. You'd like to try something at home, and you've got, you know, a pot like that, and you can just get it on the go, and you know, why not? Let's see whether smoke really works. Okay, well, let's have a look at it from this point of view. I've got a large Dutch casserole, or Dutch oven. Now, this one is hand cast, stamped, and pressure cast aluminum, or aluminium. It can be steel or it can be aluminum, but it cannot be something which is neither of that, somewhere around. Well, I'll show it to you later on. I've got a little ingot, which can actually be in, oh, here we are. Ingot is in drawer. This thing here, this was a lady who followed one of my recipes for this idea, and it was a bonded metal pan, and it had alloy in the bonding, and it just went through. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I mean, she was very nice about it in the letter. It went through and it just stuck to her range. So this was her saucepan. Now, therefore, please, if you've got a bonded metals pan, don't do this. But pressure cast, aluminum, or steel will be just fine. All right, good. Now, to begin with, you've got to have some kind of a metal dish on the bottom. If you don't have a little square metal dish of some kind, get 3 sheets of foil and just crumble the foil up so as to trap some air between the levels. The idea is that you make this kind of turban and then press it down so that it'll maintain contact with the pan underneath. But you really don't want this to ooze out and bubble over the thing, because boy, as this stuff gets to the bottom of your pan, you're not going to shift it in a long time. All right, this is what goes into the bottom. You get a tablespoonful of brown sugar. Just to spread that out first. Now, when that heats up in contact with the pan, that's obviously going to start caramelizing. It gets very hot indeed. So on top of that, you put a couple of tablespoons full of rice. Now, I've cooked long grain brown rice, but you could white rice would do just as fine, or just as well. Now, here's the odd thing that nothing else will do quite as well. Good. And this, a couple of tea bags. Now, it's just as well. Tea bag fell on the floor. Just shake the tea down to the top of the normal tea bag, and with a pair of scissors, just tuck off. Yeah, believe it or not, this is true. And then shake out the tea. Now, this is Earl Grey tea. That's not a brand name. Lots of people do Earl Grey. And it's got a liquid called bergamot, which is a citrus which comes from the Mediterranean. And that is wonderful tea, but it's marvelous used as a smoke. Now that's the lot, except for 4 cloves, these little apple, flavoring for cloves, and those stuck on there. And think just for a moment how you could springboard with this idea. You put this down at the bottom of the pan like that. You could put branches of rosemary in there, all kinds of stuff. Now, here is one of these, steamers with holes in it. You can put one layer down like that and then balance another one on the top to get a double layer out of it. Or, just use this one, the one that I did before, which is just simply, just grease it slightly and then lay the chicken out on the top of it, put it onto the heat, and I need this a little later on for something else. So I'll put that on the heat here and turn this one up and put a lid on the top. And you'd be ready with that for about 10 minutes. It gets this marvelous smoke, all right? Okay, let's have a look at some bread. I want you to see a loaf. I mean, this is just a magnificent loaf of bread. It is so wonderful. There are some Italian recipes being used nowadays in bakeries all over the world where the crust is fabulous, where the flavor is out of this world. Well, not quite. I mean, it's as far away as Italy. And please, if you're going to make a sandwich, do it with bread which has got some guts in it. It's just special. So that's being done there. Let's get some items on the side. Here's some butter. I really like romaine. Okay, if you like romaine lettuce. But when it comes to a sandwich, and this is what I want to do here, this is it. I mean, this butter lettuce is so tender. Look for it. It looks just like that. Some slices of good tomato. Get that on the side. And then also some yogurt. Now, the yogurt is my favorite way of doing things. I know. If you're watching me every week, please, bear with me. It's such a good idea, and I like it so much. Here is just a little strainer, non-fat yogurt. Strain it for about 5-6 hours, and it becomes very beautiful. It's called by some people fresh cheese, so fresh yogurt cheese. So put that on one side. At the bottom, you've got some whey, which is soaked out of it, so that's all ready. Those are doing wonderfully well now. Good, great. Now, one other little trick just on the way to it is parsley. Now, the parsley is finely chopped, put into, and I always do this, by the way, you just don't ever get to see it, is put into a little muslin. You get sort of cheese muslin like that. Run it underneath a tap, and then just screw that out. You know, chop it first and then screw it out. It's just amazing what happens here. You see, screw it until you start to press until it looks green. Then, if you bring that back, you will see the most radical thing when you've done that. Even if parsley's been a little tired, in this case, it isn't tired at all, and it can be just shaken in, and I put stalks and everything in it because stalks have got so much more flavor. Don't just pick off the top. Okay, that's ready. Good. Well, that's almost done now. Get a plate, and let's see how much longer I've got. Oh, 1.5 minutes. Well, it might have to come out a bit early. Great. There it is. Toast rack. Okay. Out. Beautiful. All right. Toast done. And then, half a minute to go. And now the tomato can be placed here. The beautiful butter lettuce here to the side. And a little bit more of that just around there. And another slice on the top. I mean, just make it really, really go for it. And then freshly ground pepper on the top. And just a little touch of salt as well. I mean, really celebrate it. And then a good dollop of the strained yogurt over the top. Look how that looks. Whoa! And a little bit of salt on there, a little bit of pepper on there, and let it spill out on the plate. That doesn't matter. All right, so you're just about ready for it. Now, come on. Ring! Ring! It's within 30 seconds of going. All right, there it is. Lift it out, and you will have this magnificent, wonderful chicken. Look at that. Isn't that look wonderful? And then take this piece and just lay it onto the deck and take a little slice through here. Just slice it very tenderly. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. It is lustrous, moist, tender, gentle, beguiling. Well, you know, I mean, it's all right. And this is another reason for this piece of machinery, by the way. And just drop that on the top, like so. All right. And here's the parsley. There's the parsley on the top. Now the parsley all the way around. Doesn't that look like a sandwich? Wonderful. Okay, let's have a look at the numbers. I mean, that's the big thing, the numbers. I'm going to compare this, actually, with a breast of chicken in a cream sauce, because I really wanted to produce something different, you know, against something which you would normally have. Okay, so that's what this looks like. See how we got rid of the salt and the skin? No salt, no skin, only smoke. All right. Good. Now, here are the numbers. Now, as against the classic at 403, we've now got 449 in calories. And remember, most of this is coming from the bread, actually. The fat was 43 grams in just an ordinary piece of chicken with a cream sauce over it. And this one, as a great sandwich, is just 9 grams of fat. Saturated fat is 3, instead of 17 grams of saturated fat otherwise. And that means that instead of 54% of the calories that come from fat, it's actually going to drop down to 17%, which is super. Cholesterol, 133, great stuff. Sodium, 442, which is perfectly all right. And the dietary fiber is up to 6, which always pleases me. I think that's great. Now, here is the test, of course. A good crusty piece of bread. Look at that piece of chicken at the end there. And then you've got this at the side, so you can cut that. It's rather like a sort of tossed hot salad. Oh, oh, the cracked pepper, the smoke. There's just enough smoke there to go bathing from underneath with that strained yogurt. And that crisp, oh, it's good. It's wonderful. Okay, now don't forget, springboard is normal. What I'm going to do to springboard is this. I'm going to take some catfish. Instead of frying the catfish with chips, I'm going to take catfish and create a staggering thing called catfish on a raft. I shouldn't tell you anything more about it, but it's really something else. Come through and I'll show you how it's done. Okay? Good. Remember how I put that on earlier on, and now it's smoking. Now, 6 to 7 minutes is about it. And that's a great sandwich, by the way. Okay, so now we put that on. In this case, 8 minutes. It really shouldn't take any more than 8 minutes, maybe 7, okay? So we'll pop that on the go. And this is what I want to do, and I want to get it on as quickly as possible. Just release, oh, don't release the lid yet. Smoke. I just sent a great message to somebody. All right, here is the fish that I want to use, and this is catfish. And just put a little drizzle of oil around on the top and just brush it lightly. And the reason for that is that catfish is very low in fat, and what fat there is a monounsaturated, so it's good. I just don't want it to stick in any way. Now, I put this deliberately just to show you how many pieces you could get into this. I put that on that, and then this one is going to settle on the top, just as I showed you earlier. So you can see there's enough room around it to actually smoke it. So this one has been pre-greased, so just pop those on the top. No salt, nothing else. The idea was to get away from the salt thing. Now, when you've got that good head of smoke on there, lift that on, drop the first one down into the top there, press it down, drop the next one on the top, and that's on the top. Okay. It's not really so much of a problem about trapping the smoke. It's just that it really is quite smoky, and you don't want to get it all over the house. All right, good. This is what I just cut up. This is a catfish, and this is about a 3 pound, 2.5 to 3 pound catfish. Nice fella, beautiful flesh. And this grows in 2 ways. You know, you can get it in called channel catfish and then lake catfish. In the Ohio River, there's a bit of a problem with them at the moment because they have PCBs in them and they're over 2 parts per million, and that's not such a good idea. So look for the ones that have been bred in farms, usually in Mississippi. And they are very good and they're delicious. Okay, so that's done. That's on the go there. Now let's have a look and see the sauce thing that goes with this. This is very, very unusual. The first thing is that I've got here about 12 fresh basil leaves. And you can get basil. And the way that I've done this when I've been in some unusual places, let me tear this out whilst I'm telling you about it, is that I look for an Italian market, or a market with an Italian name to it. Usually, any time of the year, they've got it. Really good. Half a cup of strained yogurt. Now, this is the yogurt, you know, that I keep on rushing to the fridge and getting out, and which I did just a moment or two ago. This is strained so that you've got the, you know, all of the way out of it. It's really soft and luscious. Now, here, we've got something. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it? It looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a tongue, I suppose. And you just cut that. That is pimento. Now, that's just a long red pepper, which has been roasted and the skin taken off it. And it's called pimiento as a result of that. And you can get those in jars or cans. And so I just want about 1/4 cup of that, and just lay that in on the top. And that'll do it. So just bash a little top on the smart. This is an ideal size, by the way, to do this job. Run it up there and just pulse it around until it starts to get each one of the, if it throws it up on the top, just with a small, with just a small, whatever that is, a spatula, just get it down and you'll be all right. All right. Good. Now, this is pulse. I don't want to get this to the place where it actually becomes runny. I want to keep it somewhat textural so that the pieces, the individual pieces are still there. Perfect. Good. All right. Now, that's what it now looks like. You see? Just like this. Just a beautiful spoonful. And just oozes off the top. It's got viscosity in there, and that's great. And you must, of course, get this little teaspoon, half teaspoonful of horseradish. Whenever there's something left out there, I think, good. Now, then you stir that in later. You don't actually. You put it in with the rest of the stuff. Make sure that it sort of all mixes together. Good. Fine. Now, this is the raft. this whole thing is supposed to be catfish on a raft. And so what you do here is you get a pretty decent iceberg. This one's actually grew up and came to size rather quickly. I need to have a piece which comes across like that, about 1 inch thick. And you can get about 4 bits out of you see, this is perfect. You see how this one is formed here? That's the kind of density that I want. But you'll go through this problem when you do it too. So just trim around the outside like that until you've got a nice looking piece, and then place it on a plate. And this is where you get the sauce. So you take the sauce. This is wild. You take the sauce and then you spread that over the top. Now you'll have enough here to be able to spread it quite well. All over the top. And doesn't it look great? And the taste of this is so exotic. It's truly special. And good, that's fine. Little freshly ground pepper over the top. And about this time, let's see, buried in amongst these trimmings here is the thyme. 1 minute to go. Good. Just take a lemon and cut the lemon in half in time-honored fashion. And we can get rid of the pips. Always, by the way, whenever you use this thing, if you've got one, always give it a rinse after you've used it, and that gets rid of some of the odd little bits of pips, you see, that can get trapped in there. And that's where I got caught the other day. All right, and I want to put just a little bit of lemon, just a little scattering of lemon over the top of that. And then here, I've got another bunch of fresh basil leaves, and these are held closely together, and then you put the knife down through it so that you've got this very thin slices called a chiffonade, like chiffon as in pie with ADE as in promenade, and then tease that apart so that it'll come apart and get used just as I want. Now I've got here some red peppers, and that's ordinary red peppers, and they're all ready to have a go. Right, okie doke. Good. Now, really, don't forget that the handle here is hot. Always take that off. Whoa, look at that. It's just gorgeous. All right, and now just lift that out. And the other one down below, just get them both out at the same time. You'll probably bring out the little piece of foil at the same time. See how that's actually reacted to that? Put that away as quickly as possible in a sealed container so that it doesn't smoke the place up. Okay, then here, let's just get the nice piece of catfish. See how easily that comes away? And just place that down on top there. It is so perfect. That is bang on. And then throw a little of the red pepper there and just a bit of thank you. And a little bit of the fresh basil on the top. Looks tremendous, and thanks so much for the help. All right, let's have a look and see what the numbers actually look like here. This is really unusual, and it looks different, doesn't it, when compared to the classic, which are the chips and the fried catfish. Now, mark you, millions of people have eaten this and love it, really love it, so no criticism, it's great. But look at the numbers, please. 709 is the classic, and that's for the fried. This goes down to 173. I mean, truly remarkable. Fat was at 42. That's 2/3 of an average day's consumption. This is down to 4 total fat. Saturated fat was 7. This is 1 gram of saturated fat. Therefore, percentage of calories from fat were 53, drops down to 22%, which is, I love that number. Cholesterol is 101, which is simple. This is down to 68, which is better. Sodium at 322, drops right down to 130. Dietary fiber, well, there we are. I can't win them all. They dropped down to 1. Okay, now, but look at the color of the thing. And just imagine biting into that. You've got that sauce, and if you like fresh basil, you're going to love this, or basil. Oh, really, that hot from the smoker, crisp salad underneath, bathed in that sauce. filled with the sparkle of fresh basil. It's just lovely, okay? So, creativity means get some of the risk down, some of the flavors up, with lots of aroma, color, and texture, okay, for your best friends and those you love. God bless you. Thanks for being with me again. See you next time. Okay.